Hi guys, welcome back to Broken Silence. I'm Sanyya Gardez. This conversation is getting even too hot for me, and that rarely happens. We're talking about lack of Asians in mainstream, and we veered off topic completely. However, the point remains that we don't have enough Asians representing Asians in mainstream, and joining me on the panel again is Onkar Samal, formerly known as Lightning MC, and Z from UrbanVibesTV.com. Now, you guys obviously have personal issues that you have just explored in our last segment. We're going to leave that behind.
Of course.
Because no point rehashing the same thing. However, within the industry, like in mainstream, similarly in the Asian industry, there's hunger beef. So what is that and what's going on with that in relation to you?
All right, so I didn't really want to mention names, but obviously in this case you brought it up, so I'll mention the names of what. I'll keep it factual because I'm not here to diss artists or whatever you want to call it. So you had artists Tiger Style and J Skills. I'm sure you guys might have heard of them at some point. These guys didn't take a preference to my song, so they decided that the best thing to go about that was to diss it on Twitter. My New Year's resolution this year was to not diss any artists. I've been controversial in the past because I don't like all these people that make fake songs, sample music, mime in front of the camera, etc. Whatever you want to call it. That's my personal opinions. I'd addressed that and left it behind. I was coming through as a new artist trying to promote my music, and they've dissed my song. So in essence, I think the main thing that happened there was they've dissed my song. I've given my opinions on their songs, which was also technically based as well. They didn't like what I said, and then they've obviously escalated. Their fans have then got involved, my fans have got involved, and I don't know how, but it's gone viral. It made the BritAsia TV news. It was all over the place. I don't even know what happened. I mean, I woke up the next morning, and my Twitter feed just gone mental.
Is it just too much testosterone? Is it too much male ego in the industry?
For me, I was reacting. I'll tell you the reason I reacted. This is the pure and simple reason I reacted. To be honest, Notorious is sitting there with you right now. I actually called Notorious before I reacted, and I called another couple of big artists in the game. I sort of asked for their opinion. I said, look, I'm getting dissed by a few artists. This is what they're saying. What do you guys think I should do? And most of the artists were on my side in the sense that I should respond. So I made a response, and I think the main reason for my response and what fueled it was when someone disses your song, it's cool, no problems. You diss my music, I don't have a problem with it. You can go on YouTube, if there's anyone out there that wants to diss it right now, go on YouTube, log in, do your thing. That's fine. It's, water under the bridge. I don't really care. The same way you get love for your tracks as well. It's all cool. But on this particular instance, I felt as though they were trying to alienate a new artist coming into the industry. So
what do you think the motivation was? Was it just sheer hate, or was it just because we discussed that
it was pure hate, because for them to say...
we discussed the fact that you have admitted that you are arrogant, right? So
I didn't really admit that, but I guess I have a certain arrogance about me. Yeah, that's not a problem.
Do you think that's what it is? Do you think that intimidates people?
Not really. I think people are scared of confident people, and I'm a confident person. I'm not scared to say what I want to say.
Okay, wait. Z's going to kill me for saying this, but I'm going to say it. I would compare you to somebody like a Kanye West. Why? Because...
Oh, thank you. That's
you know why I would say that is because he isn't...
But Z's not going to agree with you because he thinks I'm irrelevant.
He's not a very likable person because he crosses a line between confidence and arrogance. You're talented. I'm not taking anything away from you. But when you are really superiorly, you're really talented, you don't need to throw it in anybody's face. Your talent should speak for itself.
I don't throw my talent in people's faces, to be honest. Not once in this conversation today have I come to you and said, you know what, I'm going to be the best singer in the world. I'm going to do this. I'm going to take over the world. I'm not coming at you with that. My issue is...
You know why? Because you have a good PR team behind you that told you don't do that this time around.
I don't know where you got that information from. You're just plucking stuff out of the air. But all right, cool.
So wait. So this conversation never happened? You never said you were arrogant?
What do you mean? I didn't say I was arrogant. I never at one point said I said I have an arrogance about me. Yeah, of course.
So what do you think that means?
Everybody has an arrogance about them.
What do you think that means?
I asked you the question earlier. I think what you're doing is you're bringing off-air comments, but if you want to touch on that subject, that's not a problem. When you get ready for a pie, and you look in the mirror, what would you prefer to do? Would you prefer to diss yourself down and say, you know what, I look really ugly today, I shouldn't go to this party? Or are you going to think, you know what, damn, you look all right. You look all right today. And you know what, there's not one person out there there's not one person out there that hasn't ever looked in the mirror and thought, you know what, I look good today. I'm gonna make this day happen.
You know what? But
Everybody's done it.
when you look good
Getting
and
a
you
few
feel,
smiles in the
if you
audience.
look good and you feel good, I don't have to go into anybody's face and say, "What do you think? Don't you think I look good?" When you feel good and you're confident, you let that.
I never
speak
asked
for
anyone's
itself.
opinion of whether I'm good or not. I never
No,
asked. I never said to you, "Oh, Sanyya,
you
can you
just
please
say
tell
that
me I'm
you
good?"
are. You just say that you are. So I'm not trying to diss you. What I'm trying to say is that
What you're trying to do
I do
is
think
just-
that you are talented. The reason
Oh,
I can,
thank you. Okay.
The reason I can compare you to Kanye West is that he is also very talented.
Right.
However, he's not very likable because of the way he comes across. That's
I'm
my
not
point.
likable by Asian males from Birmingham demographic. That's it. That's the only people that like me. The women love me. You know, when it comes to music, I have a majority female fan base. I'm not trying to brag about that, but that's the fact.
You say you're not arrogant and you're wearing a shirt that says "Pretty Boy."
That's my music label. That's got nothing to do
It
with
has nothing
arrogance.
to do with you?
Well, okay, that's just basically talking about my dress. I can see what you're doing,
I'm
Sanyya.
not.
I can see what you're doing.
No,
I can see what you're doing.
You're getting
Yeah.
defensive. This
No,
is not
I'm
what
not
I'm
getting
saying. I'm
defensive. I
trying
can
to
see what
have
you're
a real debate with you.
Okay,
I'm
fair
not
enough.
trying to be offensive.
So, how many pretty boys are there out there that wear T-shirts that say stuff on them? I mean, does it matter what slogan it says on the T-shirt?
Yeah, because what it says on your T-shirt represents who you are.
Okay, I'll tell you the reason why I've come out as Pretty Boy Music and used this branding to go forward. So I used to go as Lightning MC before. I had a bald head, very thuggish looking. You know, that was my rapper attitude, and that's the way I was. Then I've come out, I've grown hair. You know, I've sort of trimmed down in terms of like physique, and you know, I've got into the gym or whatever, and everybody started saying, you know what, you've got a pretty boy thing going on about you.
Okay.
And then I started singing. So then I thought, okay, then why not, let's go with this, roll with this. This is what people were saying about me. That's not arrogance, is it? Because other people are saying that about you. How is it then arrogance? If people are saying to me, you've got a pretty boy look going on, then I've decided, okay, well, part of my branding, this is how I want to launch
Ankur,
myself
you're
as an artist.
misinterpreting what I'm saying. I am not trying to diminish who you are
No, that's
or
fine.
what you believe in. What I'm trying to say is that the reason I've compared you to Kanye is because he is a very talented musician. However, if you go on his, you know, read about him on Twitter or Facebook, people don't like the way he comes across.
Doesn't matter if they don't
right?
like him, he's making money, so that's the whole
Exactly.
point
Why
at the
don't
end
they?
of the
Though?
day.
Why is Kanye West's perception changed though? Because he's got maybe 6-7 years worth of million selling hits behind him, right?
Right.
Now because he flipped with his last album and he brought a whole new sound out, people weren't buying into it. You know, people didn't like it so much, but he's still taking it on a worldwide tour. He's notorious for not liking the paparazzi, not liking.
No, but he compares himself to God.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
That's what I'm getting
Things
to.
like that.
He's done certain interviews where he's called himself God. Now people.
Do you know what my name means in Indian?
God.
Right. So people have then, because that's not the Kanye West that they remember or that they bought into originally. He's not like the the Gold Diggers, the Through the Wires, the songs he's done with Coldplay, Chris Martin, all that kind of stuff. His new stuff isn't anywhere close to what his old stuff was. So when people see that change, people associate what he used to be to what he is now, and then they don't like that change, right? So that's where people's perceptions of what he is now is different to what he was, which is probably why they don't like him. They want the old Kanye, so that's who they like. However, there's got to be something there historically for people to refer back to. So I don't know his backlog, but this guy's backlog of
Ash
records.
2006,
No,
Bill Law
I'm not asking-
2003,
I'm not-
Kamal 2002.
I'm not
There's a
asking-
backlog.
I'm
There's a
not-
backlog, bro. Do your
I'm-
research if you want.
No, thanks.
That's
I
up
don't,
to you,
I don't
but
know
yeah.
that backlog.
Right, okay.
The backlog's there. That's what I'm saying.
But that backlog, has it got the same kind of backlog that a Bali Sagoo has? Or does it, even on a different wavelength, a Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan has? Or has it got a different backlog to like a Punjabi MC? I don't think it has. This is my opinion. I might be wrong. I don't know the guy's backlog. But so if he's coming out and you're saying like he's got an arrogance about him, is that arrogance justified because of what he was and what he is?
Arrogance is never justified.
Right? No, but this is what I'm saying. But to someone like him or someone like Kanye West, they can justify it because there's there's something different between what they were and what they are now. He's like, Notorious said, he's trying to come out under, new guys. He's trying to bring out a new sound or whatever.
And you've got to respect that because coming from where he's coming, to revamp yourself and reinvent yourself
I'm not
is hard
knocking
work.
anyone who works hard. I'm not knocking. What I'm saying is, if your backlog isn't strong enough, if historically your music isn't prominent enough to justify that drastic change of tone to who you are and how you sound and how you come across, from Lightning MC to On Costume, whatever it is, man, you've got to have something there for someone to relate back to. For me, you know, I don't know your music. I don't, you know, it doesn't appeal to me. I've not listened to it. I am bothered by you. Like I said, as you say, you're irrelevant to me.
Do you?
So what I would see, if you know, his demeanour by biting on what he bit. You know, we're not going to go over it again.
Right.
That then says to me, this guy's always been a bit of a tool, because I don't know his backlog. Whereas with someone like, you know, Kanye West, you know, he's come out saying, "I'm a god." I'm thinking, that's not the Kanye West that I know. That's not the Kanye West that I bought into. That's not the Kanye West who you know, I bought Graduation off, or you know, whatever album, you know, is the albums.
Well,
that's not what I bought into.
I'm going to go back to that reference with Kanye West in
you're
1
talking
second.
about-
But
okay, look, you didn't actually let me-
you've never met Encore before, right? Is this your first meeting with him? Right.
Yeah.
You're not familiar with his music, you said. You say that you take new artists to mainstream labels to pitch them.
Yeah.
And
I would have
for lack
actually
of a
rated the
better
guy
word.
if he'd come up to me at the BritAsia Awards and said what
Would
he needed
you
to say,
take
to be honest. But
somebody like
he
an
felt the internet
Encore
was a better
and
medium.
pitch him to a mainstream label?
No.
Just by his demeanor?
No, because that demeanour, as he's put out himself, is a bit. There's a self-arrogance there. To me, he's not achieved anything that's worthwhile. You know.
In your opinion?
In my
your
opinion,
opinion.
absolutely.
Right, okay.
In my opinion, and my
Okay.
opinion is important to me, right? Just as yours is important to you, and one's important to anyone
Fair
else.
enough. That's
Do you know what I mean? But
the
when my
best thing you said all
opinion,
day.
when my opinion is valued by major record labels, who then sign artists, who then go and work, you know, who've got $1 million, $2 million, $5 million advances, who, you know, go and sell, who are doing records with Drake and Rick Ross as their first single, because I've put them in front of a certain A&R to get there. It doesn't matter whether you know me or not. The people that know me are the people who are going to be getting paid checks. You know?
So if you did, you said you don't know his music, but if you do listen to his music and you think it's quite good, doesn't matter what beef you guys have, would you then take him on and introduce him to mainstream labels?
It wouldn't matter to me if a car looked on the outside. It wouldn't matter to me whether it had AC or heated seats. So it doesn't matter what's on the inside. What people buy, what people see is what people see. You never get a second chance to make a first impression.
So basically, you're saying the image isn't right.
Doesn't
Yeah.
matter. You know, low, it's probably low. We know that. You know, we've got our differences. It doesn't matter to me because it has no influence on what I do on a day-to-day basis, right? He might say the same, vice versa. But I put out something. He could have reacted one or two ways. He chose the way that gave me.
We're not going to go back to all
No,
this.
but you know, I've got to
boring
say,
now,
do you know what I mean?
yeah.
I'm not going back to it. I'm
Let's-
addressing a point. I'm
let's
addressing
move
a point. Yeah,
on. Move on,
I'm
though,
addressing
you know what I mean?
I'm addressing a point.
Sour milk, bro. Sour milk. Let's
All
move
right,
on.
okay. So that gave me the perception, right, of what he is as an individual. So therefore, if that's what he's like as an individual, why am I going to waste my further time listening to what product he's got? Because I don't want to associate with him musically. That's what we're talking about here, right? So why would I want to take someone like that, put him in front of an A&R in a major and say, listen, I like this kid, he's got potential there, when he hasn't even got a
Okay.
backlog of relevance to me?
This is
That's what
will
I'm
be the
saying.
last question I ask about what happened with you guys, and then we're moving on. Why would you single him out?
A comment was made to me by somebody after the awards.
Who was it?
It's somebody that I know that you don't know.
Oh, right.
So a comment was made to me. It was a flippant comment. Someone said to me, "Look at that guy in his gay T-shirt." I went, "That guy in his gay T-shirt, yeah." I went, ha, laughed. I goes, who is this guy? Is he a singer? What is he? And then I was told a bit about him, right? And that's how it came about. And then I was having a discussion with someone. People who know me know that I'm outspoken or whatever, and I was having a discussion with someone, and they asked me what I felt about the BritAsia Awards as a whole, yada yada yada, and then someone made a comment about Roach Killer, he wants to go mainstream with his next single, and that's how my comment came about. There was things that stuck out in my head was Roach Killer wanting to go mainstream. This ADH guy, I don't know, he could be a fantastic guy. He didn't bite. I've got more respect for him because he didn't bite. I was direct to him, and to be fair to Encore, I was worse. I threw more, abuse at that guy, and he didn't bite at all. And I've got more respect for him for that because he didn't bite. And Encore, those are three things that kind of stuck out in my head. It's my personal social media feed, and if I want to directly at someone, I will, and I did.
What it is, like everybody's entitled to opinion, yeah?
Absolutely.
Don't get me wrong. But I think when you're either an artist or in the industry, which you obviously are, if you've got opinions on people and they're not good, there's no need to go out on social media I know like Tiger Star, for example, openly dissed this guy's product.
Yeah.
Now, they don't like the song, I don't like a lot of people's songs, but don't do it in the public forums, You're saying that you threw out abuse at ADH. Now, that guy, he's living his own life, he's never said nothing to you.
But absolutely.
Now, hear me out, brother.
Yeah, okay.
what need is there? I know sometimes maybe people like just to maybe cause a bit of controversy, but what need is there to
Well, 'cause he thought
this guy living his life in his own little world? What need is there for you to go onto social media and throw abuse and then he's giving respect for not biting back? See how I work personally. I've had a lot of abuse from the public. I've done songs that have had controversy, and like you said, sometimes you have to put up with it because if you're going to put up with the good comments and the love, the hate comes with it, and I accept that. But then if artists or industry heads openly went on public forums and diss me, my blood boils. I want to go and break their necks, and because it's not right. Because I don't do that to nobody. I don't know you. I've met you now for the first time. I would never think to go on social media and throw abuse at you for no reason. There's no need for it, is there? Is there a need for it?
Yes, there is, and let me explain why. If you choose to be, a public figure, whether it's sports, whether it's media, whether it's music, you open yourself up to public opinion. Whether you like it or not, whether you accept it or not, you open yourself up to people saying what they want to say about you, whenever they want to say about you, and whatever they want to say. You take that on board. Now, going back to the Asian music scene is quite small.
No, I hear what you're saying, but you got to make the distinction between industry people, artists, your level playing people, or the public. The public is different. The public, Joe Public can say what he wants, but when you're an artist, if an artist is an artist, that's how you get beef. But, I'd say to him, I mean, to be fair, maybe what goes around comes around, because a few years ago, Lightning went on CTV and openly dissed PMC and Zeus and other artists. Artists that he's my friend, this guy, and I told him afterwards, you're wrong. PMC isn't a sampler producer. Zeus isn't a fake producer. People over the years used to say Cam Frantic made all Zeus's music. Zeus has been around since I started in 1999. The guy's probably at the top of his game right now. Very talented guy. You don't get to where he is without having talent. Same with PMC. The guy isn't just a sampler. He's got a lot to him. You know what I mean? So, but for him to do that as an artist, even if he was a new artist, once you take that step and become an artist, you must respect other artists.
I think you got a point. I think there's a difference between an artist saying something else about an artist and someone who's not an artist, who's got a bit of a media background, who's got an opinion. There's a difference. If you think of, back in '98 when Beckham flipped Simeone in the World Cup, he got vilified. He got vilified every ground he went to. He didn't ask for that, but it was part and parcel of what because of who he was and what he did. He had to take it on board. It might be chalk and cheese with the situation we're talking about right here, but you have to accept it. I made a comment because I can, and this is why I keep saying to you, because I can, because I'm in a position where people listen to what I say. I'm valued in the industry that I work with. People respect my opinion and respect what I say because I'm known for saying what I want, when I want, how I want, to who I want. It doesn't bother me. People know when they say to me, ask me a question, they'll know that I get an honest answer. So when you say to me, is it right for me to throw abuse or throw a flippant comment via social media to someone that I don't know personally? Why not? Why can't I? I've got that right.
Yeah, you can do it, but is it? Ask yourself. When you wake up in the morning, because we live in a society, right? If everyone went out with that attitude, that negative attitude, like I'm going to come
negative,
out.
bro.
Hear me out, man. If I went out today and I thought, what? Because I see artists, right? There's a lot of whack music coming out in the Asian scene and the mainstream. If I went out and you look at my social media, I've never dissed anyone. If I'll say it to their face if I want to say it, but if there's people out there, they're just trying. You know what I mean? Lightning song. I'm not the biggest fan of it, but he's trying. There's other people out there that are trying. Not everyone's born equal. Some people have got more talent than others. But if you go out and I know you can do it. Anybody can do it. Sanyya can do it. Anybody can sit at home and think, what? Today I'm going to diss this person. What does it bring to society? Let's just get on and live our lives. You know what I mean? Be happy.
Yeah, in an ideal world, Notorious. In an ideal world, everyone would learn. There'd be no wars. There'd be no famine. There'd be no debt. That's an ideal world. Sadly, we live in a world where people have opinions. People say things. People don't like people. This word hatred or haters gets thrown away.
Okay, so wait. Hold on a second, Notorious. In hindsight, Ankar, would you have taken the bait? Would you have responded to this, or would you just would have let it go?
If it hadn't invaded my personal private space, because I have family and friends that go on there, I probably wouldn't have responded. I'm not interested in responding to people that have negative comments of my song. Now, don't get me wrong, my song's been successful. I've got hundreds of thousands of views on YouTube. I've got lots of lovers. I've got lots of people that really, really like the song. I've got people singing the song to me. I'm getting recognized. I'm getting people coming up to me. They want my Pretty Boy t-shirts are on high demand. I'm going to be dropping the clothing line in November, and I've already got people on pre-orders on it, okay? So in regards to success and respect, I have that, okay? I've got a fan base. I don't need to justify that to anybody. But at the end of the day, what I didn't respect was the fact that, okay, first I've been tagged into a post, which I have nothing to do with. Secondly, what really, really sort of, it threw me a bit. It was like, this guy's seen me yesterday.
And he didn't say anything,
found
right? Okay.
it more viable. Wait,
No,
let me
so-
finish.
I was
Let me
told
finish.
afterwards. I've told
Let me
you
finish.
numerous of times.
Let me
Because
finish.
Encore.
make it
Just
relevant.
answer.
gonna let me finish?
Wait,
You've
okay,
asked me a
but
question,
yeah,
so let
but
me-
I asked you a yes and no question.
Right, go on.
Would you, in hindsight, respond, take the bait, or would you not?
I wouldn't have if he hadn't tagged me. That
Okay,
was
fine.
the short answer.
All right.
But in hindsight, he wasn't talking about the music, so that's what really sort of got it. But just going back to the Tiger style and stuff, that issue there itself. Now these guys, in my opinion, also what Notorious just said about sampling on Punjabi MC and Dr. Zeus or whatever. I've actually shook Dr. Zeus's hand when I saw him at the BritAsia nomination awards, so I haven't got any problems with any of the artists that I'm talking about. My simple sort of message was that I disagree with sampling. Now, whether you guys agree with me or not on that, that's cool.
Right,
Because
okay.
everybody will say hip hop is based on sampling, whatever you want to call it. In my eyes, sampling is stealing music from another musical artist and then generating it into your own music. So in my eyes, I would rather create a fresh piece of music, not use samples in it. And this is one of the things that I guess going back to the mainstream thing here, we don't get respect as Asian artists sometimes because people will see a Dr. Dre beat with a Punjabi vocal over the top of it. And for me, that's beastie because if someone comes up to me and says that was your track, I don't agree with it.
You agree with that?
That's my opinion. But anyway, that's just my opinion.
That's okay.
I don't, there's not a right or wrong. Music's music at the end of the day. If sampling music works, like Punjabi, probably the biggest crossover Punjabi song. Actually, it is the most.
I didn't
successful
disagree
song,
with that.
Is a sample song. So ultimately, it comes down to music. Something's popular. So if something's got an X factor to it, it will work regardless. Punjabi MC song proved that. So I don't have a problem. I've sampled in the past, and I'm sure I'll take samples. It's if you can do it in a unique way, in an ingenious way. That's when it's a good skill.
Can I just say?
Raj has something to say.
I mean, as for sampling, I think that's one word for it. Another word is evolution. You know what I mean? It's evolving.
Yeah, but you're taking someone else's work. That's the
I
problem.
understand what you're saying, but that's like me saying, the great Efren Reyes, pool player. I used to watch him play and break. Man, so many things I do in my game that I picked up from him. What I'm trying to do, you got to learn from someone. You got to take from someone. And I understand what you're saying. Creating something fresh from new is great, but then somebody in the world can't tell me Puff Daddy is not one of the greatest producers of all time. And he's the mastering.
You know what the difference between mainstream, Raj, the difference
basically.
between mainstream sampling and Asian music sampling is that, let me just quickly clarify this.
Go on.
Most of the mainstream artists, they usually get their samples cleared for and they pay for their samples.
Right.
Asian artists don't do that. So in effect, what they're doing is they're stealing someone else's song. Now that's let's not go back to this because to be honest with you, that's my opinion and no one's going to be able to change that. I believe that anyone that samples music or takes someone else's music without their permission is a thief. And that's it.
No,
That's
I
my
totally
opinion.
agree with you there.
That's my opinion,
100%.
okay?
You
So
should
whether
have
anybody
permission.
else disagrees or agrees with me, that's always going to be my opinion. Me and Notorious see different on this. He's my good friend.
Yeah.
Me and True School see different on this.
Yeah.
He's my good friend. That doesn't change the fact that that's my opinion and that's the way I think. I then obviously said that to Tiger Style. They've then said it back, and then it's just caused a big viral Twitter debate, and I wasn't even expecting that sort of a reaction. All I was doing was sticking up for myself. Now let me ask you a question. Let's say for example you're a new artist and you're coming out releasing a song, okay? Now you've just released your song and you look up to people like Tiger Style and Jay Skills and Punjabi MC and Dr. Zeus, all these people, you look up to them, right? Then all of a sudden you've released your song and these guys have dissed you down. They don't know who you are. You're just a new music artist trying to make a song. Because they didn't like your song, they've dissed you down. What sort of a message are we sending out there to new artists? What sort of a message as artists are we saying to them? Don't come into this industry because you're not welcome. That's what wound me up. Because I rebranded as an artist on Sumal from Lightning MC. Yeah. I'm now trying to bring a new brand, a new perspective. My New Year's resolution was to not diss artists. Believe it or not, my New Year's resolution was to not diss artists. I swear down. I kept it until the point Tiger Style and Jay Skills come at me. So realistically speaking, I haven't done anything wrong. All I've done is I've defended myself by giving my opinions on their music. Now, whether someone agrees with my opinions or not is another story.
No, I totally agree.
See what I'm
Listen,
saying?
you got to speak your mind. I got to speak my mind in my industry sometimes. You got to vent. That's what it is, And if you really do feel strongly in something, hey, you got to let the people.
That's the way I feel about music sampling. But this show's not really about music sampling. It's more about sort of other stuff.
Well, I want to thank all my guests for being here today. I hope this show was hot enough for you, because it was for me. You've been watching Broken Silence. I'll be back next week, same time, same place.